Hi, I'm Gina and I'm a musical director for Leo and Hyde. Welcome to this warm-up. We'll begin very shortly, but stick around afterwards as I'll be explaining what makes a good warm-up and why I chose the exercises I did. Let's get started. So, first things first, good posture and alignment. I'm going to describe it standing up, but just modify it to suit your needs. So, legs hip width apart, knees unlocked, and make sure that you're not slouching or leaning side to side, or that you're not leaning too far forward or too far back. Then for our upper body, let's think about our shoulders and arms. So arms just hanging nice and loosely by your side, and your shoulders should be down and relaxed and not rounded forward or rounded backwards. When this happens, the chest should feel upright but not too puffed out. The next thing we want to think about is our head, and ideally we want as neutral a position as possible. So if our chin is jutting forward or our head is up like this, it's going to cause some tension in the back of the neck, which really isn't good for our voices. So just think about lengthening the back of the neck, so chin down and in slightly. It doesn't have to be too much like this. You know, it shouldn't feel too unnatural, but just nice and loose and neutral. So even though you're trying to keep this good neutral posture, you don't want it to feel rigid, because that's just going to cause unnecessary tension, which doesn't help our voices. Now let's move on. Take the S and the I off and you're left with ng, and that is the sound we're going to use for this first exercise. To find the sound we want for this next exercise, we're going to think of a witch cackling like this. Or think of na 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 na. That very bright pingy sound is what we want to achieve, so make sure you're comfortable with making that sound before you start this exercise. The words will be me, my, mo, moo.
Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo. Me, my, mo, moo.
For this exercise, we want to create a cry quality in the voice, so practice crying or whining before you start, like this. Why? We want this cry quality to be present in our singing voices throughout this exercise. The words are, I give it my all.
I give it my all. I give it my all. I give it my all. I give it my all. I give it my all. I give it my all. I give it my all. I give it my all. I give it my all. I give it my all. I give it my all.
For this bonus exercise, I've only done one example, but feel free to move it up or down to suit your range. It uses the numbers 1 to 8 and it shows where you are on the scale. The lowest note you'll sing will be 1 and the highest note you sing will be 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 1, 5, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. 1, 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 1, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So what makes a good warm-up? Firstly, you want to make sure that you are not pushing your voice. You can't expect to sing perfectly when you just start singing for the day. Variety is brilliant, so try and bring lots of different elements to your warm-up. This could be singing different vowels, it could be singing notes that are next to each other and then skipping notes out. It could be faster paced exercises or exercises that have long sustained notes. Just play around, Definitely ask around, research, collect loads of really good ideas. I have a list of lots of warm-ups that I've picked up over the years, and depending on what I need that day, I just pick out different ones that will suit me. So why did I choose these particular exercises? The first one we did was the and is a brilliant way to warm your voice up. I always use it first in every warm-up, and this is because it's very, very gentle on your voice, but it allows you to move quite freely throughout your entire range. So it's a good way to just gently warm everything up. Now, in this particular exercise, because our other exercises were going up, I decided to go down with this one and work on the lower range, but you can absolutely use the anywhere in your range. I chose the Me, Me, My, Mo, Mu exercise for several reasons. Firstly, we're working on different vowel sounds. The notes are short, which varies from the other warm-ups. It also skips out notes, so you're not singing notes that are directly next to each other, which is really good for training our ear and for our vocal agility. I also asked you to use a twang quality in the voice, which is when I asked you to put the which voice on there. And that's a really good vocal quality to use in lots of different situations. Firstly, it will add brightness to the voice. If you want a very bright, pingy sound, then think about adding some twang. It can also help you achieve higher notes. So if you're really struggling with some high bits in songs, then think about adding some twang and see if that helps. You don't need to push anything, just think about making it more bright and see what happens. Also, warm-ups are a great time to experiment with things like this because we took that sound to the extreme, and once you know what it feels like, you can then start to implement it and have some control over it when you're using it in your singing. So for the I Give It My All exercise, I actually made that up specifically for this video. I wanted to use something from one of Leo and Hyde's songs because it can be really, really helpful to use bits from songs that you are singing in your warm-ups. It just gives you some extra focus time to work on a particular bit and really get to grips with what's going on in the music. So I chose this line because it moves in a semitone pattern upwards, and semitones are the smallest interval that we sing in the Western world. And that contrasts nicely from the previous exercise when we were skipping around a little bit. It's also smooth and there's a long note at the end, contrasting from the short and snappy previous exercise. I asked you to sing with cry and whine in the voice. This was just to give you another thing that you could play with. Cry can be used like twang to help you sing higher notes, but it's also really useful when you're transitioning from the lower range into the higher range. So maybe try adding cry as you get a little bit higher in your voice. Maybe do a scale, start lower down in your range and gently go up. And as you get higher, think about adding some cry and see what happens. I also gave you a bonus exercise because I love this exercise so much. If I need to warm up quite quickly, this is the one I do. The reason it's so good is you've got scalic movement, i.e. stepwise movement, the notes next to each other. You've also got jumping around. We're using numbers which all have different vowel sounds in. The range is good, we're spanning a whole octave, so we're going all the way up a scale. We're getting both long and short notes in there, and we can play around with smooth sounds or short and detached sounds, however we like. It's just really great. I love it so much. Now, I talked a little bit about twang and cry, and I thought I would demonstrate what they sound like when you're actually singing part of a song. So I've chosen a line from Just Being Realistic by Leo and Hyde, and the first time I sing it with twang, and the second time I sing it with cry. I've also chosen a bit that goes quite high, so you can hear how using those vocal qualities can help you sing higher.
I want to love, but I'm not enough. I want to love, but I'm not enough.
Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found the warm-up helpful. If you have any questions, please do ask. And I want to recommend that you go and check out Leo and Hyde. I love working with them. They write amazing music. So hopefully I'll catch you at a future show. Thanks a lot. Bye.